Yeah, I'm sure there'll be links to all the books, hopefully, at the end of this.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But my first book I wrote, in fact, 10 years ago this year, which I can't believe, the storytelling book. Um, and the first, this obviously in storytelling, we talk about the magic number 3 a lot. So, Veni, Vidi, Vici, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternity, 3 wise men, 3 blind mice.
Right.
A number of times you're a lady. So the book is divided into 3 parts. So part 1 was what I'm talking about now. Why have we become obsessed with numbers and measurement? The middle part was why stories work as a sort of antidote to that. And then the third part was, okay, tips and tricks on storytelling. And over those 10 years, I do return to the subject a lot. What I say is this, Andrew, which is that I think, as I sort of mentioned a couple of minutes ago, certainly from the advertising and creative industries, they wanted, as Woody Allen once said, they wanted to sit at the grown-ups table. I think in order to do that, they wanted to prove the efficacy or efficiency of advertising. So I work with Peugeot cars, parts of the British government or whoever. A marketing director may have several £1 million budget, or advertising director. And it became this sort of desire for ultimate accountability. Can you prove that if you spend £10 million that you're going to get an ROI or whatever? Again, perfectly understandable psychologically. I'm giving you this, and please spend it wisely. But as I say, at some point, the scales tipped a bit.
Yeah.
UK, we have something called the Institute for Practitioners in Advertising, the IPA. And they went on this really big sort of course to say, okay, how do we prove using things like econometric modeling? How can we prove that this campaign with this creative idea paid back?
Right.
Even if some of the econometric modeling was a little bit, post hoc. But anyway, and I understood that. But what happened was it became, I have an expression, the lure of the single criterion. And I think what happened was, okay, can we prove with one number, this advertising works? And there was a thing called Day After Recall, all sorts of systems, and Millward Brown had the awareness index. Can we have one figure which we can take to the CFO and say, look how wonderful this. At the time, I thought, maybe this is not the Holy Grail. And that lure of a single criterion will lead to certain unintended consequences, one of which is to make things that work against that system, like gaming the system. So where KPIs and metrics, and again, I wrote about it in the book. So in our National Health Service, they went on an efficiency run to try and get more patients seen. So what did some of the trusts do? They gamed the system and they arranged appointments for patients when they were on holiday. So they couldn't make it, but they ticked a box. Oh, you're there.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. We know human beings will do that. They game the system. So again, what I get nervous about is I think that's led to a decline in unexpected creativity, this obsession with metrics, this obsession with KPIs. Another expression I have is you won't get much meaning from a mean. So have means and averages. We know that.
Right.
So it's this lowest common denominator approach. And I do think, sort of seriously, when I go back and talk to ad agencies and work with clients on that, it hasn't quite gone back. It's accelerated this obsession with everything has to be measured. I'm not the first person to say that, not everything that counts can be measured. So you have a client who says, can we measure the quality of our customer experience? What does that mean? There's no single term. Again, it goes back to, Socrates. What's the meaning of virtue? What's the meaning? So you can't look at quality. You've got to find out what those things actually mean. So, sorry, another bit of a digression there, but I hope that's a reasonable response to that question.